It's time to upgrade the list of best Prebuilt PCs that you can buy for the month of October 2022. First of all, I'm sorry about my voice sick right now, but that is not stopping me from making these videos. And remember that you will have all the links for these Prebuilt PCs down below in the description. And not only these PCs, but I will also update the list that I had in the description, where I leave a bunch of Prebuilt PCs for different budgets in case your budget is not shown on this video. So if it's lower than the first one or higher than the last one, don't worry about it because you will for sure have it in the description. With that being said, let's start with this one. With the first PC we have an HP Pavilion gaming desktop. This one is on Newegg actually, and it's also on Amazon I believe. Don't worry, I'll link both Newegg and Amazon links down below for this Pavilion PC. This one comes with the i5-10400F and the RTX 3060 for the price of $742. In my opinion, I think that it's a really good price for the components that you get, but it is worth to mention that you need to upgrade some stuff on this PC down the line if you don't have the money to right now, and those components are the RAM and the storage. 256 gigs of SSD is not going to be the greatest thing, especially if you want to download a lot of games, and then 8 gigs of RAM is going to hold you back from gaining a lot of performance in some games. There are some games that are okay with 8 gigs of RAM and you won't have any issues, but there are other games that you can actually gain a lot of performance and most importantly have your game being more steady, meaning that it's not going to have those FPS drops that you get with 8 gigs of RAM. But nonetheless, for $742, the i5-10400F and the RTX 3060 combination, it's actually a great choice. There is no game that you won't be able to run at 1080p, and the 3060 it's even capable of 1440p, but do not buy a 1440p monitor without upgrading the RAM and the storage first. And these two upgrades are not going to be that expensive, so you're looking at 50 to 60 extra bucks if you want to do those upgrades. But like I said before, if you don't have the money to do it right now, don't worry about it, just buy the gaming PC because it's on a really good price and then you will figure it out down the line. But anyway, with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of SSD, it's still going to perform great in most games. Now if you have 200 extra bucks, you can get the Pavilion from their website. That's $950, but I think that this one is a much better PC. The GPU is the same, the 3060, but here we get the Ryzen 7 5700G. This one it's an 8-core 16-thread processor, so much better than the i5-10400F, especially for multitasking. So if you're thinking of doing content creation and more multitasking, then this one is going to be worth the price over the last one. And here you do not need to upgrade anything since you already get 16 gigs of RAM on dual channel and you get 1 TB of hard drive and 500 gigs of SSD, so you get much more storage, more RAM and a better CPU for $200 of difference. I do really think that it's worth the price difference, but if you don't have the money to go for $950, I completely get it, just go with the last one. And if you don't have money for the last one, check the description where I will leave more PCs, or wait for my next video which is going to be about the best budget Prebuilt PCs that you can get for the month of October. But anyway, this PC is going to be better for gaming as well, especially in high CPU demanding games, Valorant and CSGO. So if you're into esports titles, this is a no-brainer for me. I would spend the extra $200. And by the way, before moving to the next one, I actually have reviews about the Victus 15L and the HP Pavilion, so I know how these PCs perform for gaming and they are actually pretty solid. Last year I tested a 1650 Super and the i5-11400F, which was the best deal at the moment. You can go ahead and check that video out in the top right of the screen, and let me tell you that those components are much worse than the ones that I showed you on this video, and it performed fantastic at 1080p, so you won't have any issues with these ones. Now moving into the next one, we have the Skytech Chronos from Newegg. This one has the i5-12600K. If you've been on this channel, you know this is my favorite CPU in terms of price and performance, and then you get the RTX 3070, which is going to be much better than the 3060, especially if you want a game at 1440p, which is the ideal resolution for every computer right now, especially for the RTX 3070. Now of course, if you have a 1080p monitor, you can buy this PC and you will get more FPS, but let me tell you that the 3070 won't have any issues at 1440p, so if you can do the 1080p to 1440p upgrade, it's going to be highly recommended. Then you get 1 TB of NVMe SSD, 16 gigs of RAM, a 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply, and a 240 all-in-one liquid cooler for the CPU. So in terms of airflow and the computer temperatures overall, those are going to be great, and that is something that you should keep in mind when buying a Prebuilt PC. Now this one is also a system integrator, meaning that you can upgrade basically anything inside of the gaming PC, which is a nice feature that the HP Pavilions don't have. So if you want to upgrade everything inside of this PC and you want to customize it at 100%, then I think that this one is going to be the best one in terms of price to performance of the whole whole list. And because you get the 12th gen i5 12600K, not only is going to be great for content creation because you get that extra iGPU, but you will be able to upgrade to the 13th gen of Intel coming really soon. With the next one, we have this Skytech Prism 2 from their website. It's $2,000, and I know you might be thinking, why did you jump from $1,400 all the way up to $2,000? And let me tell you that I couldn't find a gaming desktop that was really worth the price between those two price ranges. So if you have between $1,400 and $2,000 but you don't want to go up to $2,000, then go with the last one, or maybe check the description. But I just believe that those are not really worth the price difference over the other. But anyway, this Prism 2 has the i5 12600K just like the last one, but here you get a bigger all-in-one liquid cooler, you get a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler, so CPUs are going to be a bit better. However, the i5 12600K is going to perform great with a 240mm one. Here the main difference is that you get the RTX 3080 instead of the 3070, and you also get 1TB of Gen 4 SSD, which for gaming is not going to be important, but if you do content creation, Gen 4 is going to be a better option than Gen 3. And then you get DDR5 memory, you get 32 gigs of RAM at 4800 MHz. Now DDR5 as of right now, it doesn't make a huge difference, but down the line maybe it's going to be a key factor. With that in mind, this PC is going to be great as well for the future, and you also get an 850 watt 80 plus gold power supply. So overall, this PC it's a beast for 4K gaming. You can go for 1440p, just like I said with the last one. You will get more FPS at 1440p, but do not be afraid to go with a 4K gaming monitor. However, I do not recommend you going for 4K just because those monitors are really expensive. But if you have the budget to go ahead and do it, especially if you're a content creator, if you want to do competitive gaming, then it's a no-brainer, go with a 1440p one. But if you want to play games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Flight Simulator, where the graphics are more important and you also do a lot of content creation, I think that a 4K monitor is not a bad option at all. And the best one on the list, it's another Prism 2. Yes, I think Skytech has been doing a great job with their Prebuilt PCs. This one is $2,400, $400 more expensive than the last one, but here you get a better CPU, the i7 12700K, and then you get the same components, but you get a 3080 Ti version, which is slightly better than the 3080, especially because the 3080 one, it's the 10 gig version, and here you get 12 gigs of VRAM, which as of right now, it doesn't make any difference. But down the line, with the newest AAA titles, they will require more VRAM, so that's something to keep in mind. Here you get a better system for the future as well, and you get a 1000 watt 80 plus gold power supply. Let me tell you, it's key for the future. I cannot emphasize this enough. An 850 watt 80 plus gold power supply will do the job for this type of thing without any issues, but a 1000 watt will give you more room for improvement down the line, and those 4000 series are going to be really power hungry, so having a 1000 watt 80 plus gold power supply, it's a relief. And I would even consider a 1200 watt power supply, but of course these are Prebuilt PCs. 1000 watt will do the job for this build and for the future. Now, if you found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe. But before ending this video, I want to say that if you click the notification button, you will get notified not only when I make these videos, but also when there are new deals on the market and I upload these deals on new posts. So it's really important for you to click the bell button if you want to get notified for those deals and get the best Prebuilt PC or PC build that you can. You will also have the playlist of my PC builds in the top right of the screen. So thank you guys for watching, thank you for your support, and I will see you on the next one.